My name's Buster.
And my name's Boots.
And welcome back to the Beam AI Racing Series for race. What race is it?
I don't know.
9. Yes, it's race 9. So we've had 8 interesting races already.
We have, and it's the unexpected has always happened. We never really knew what to expect.
No, we didn't, and the whole thing has been really interesting. But in any case, all of the winners from races 1 through 8 are back because, of course, we have to decide the Series 1 Ultimate winner.
We do, and then after that we'll be looking at Season 2 and a new track and 8 new classes.
Yes, so we're getting ready to get started. Each of these vehicles has been allowed a bit of tinkering time. So ready to get started is the Covet.
Yes, with its sexy pink seats.
Yes, they look good, don't they? And so let's run the highlight reel. Times are in, that's 29.02 seconds for the Covet. Oh, here we go, we're starting. Meanwhile, the Covet has been caught up and spun out. We're on board with the Moonhawk. He can't see where he's going. The Covet is up behind the Moonhawk. He's managed to spin it out. There's an upset, but there was a bit of an upset. And whoa, yep, the Covet is trailing behind. Whoa, and if the Covet can hold second place, he will not be eliminated. Okay, the Covet has spun out. We're back now for the final heat, 7 of 7, with 2 cars remaining. Flying there, they both flew over the jump, and the Covet's still trailing. But it looks like the Moonhawk managed to has lost control and left himself wide open, and the Covet managed to sneak in on the inside, meaning that the Covet has came in as the winner.
Your English was failing there, Mr. Buster.
Well, it was a little bit. Well, that was a long time ago. That was almost a year ago. That was like the first race we did.
Yes, it was, but you're not getting away with it that easy.
Okay. So, oh dear. So I've got to improve the commentary skills then.
Yes, exactly. You do.
Well, we're getting ready to start.
Mr. Pink Seats is doing his rolling burnout and getting set up. Well, and he's got it straight through exhaust now, I think.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. So we're ready to and go. Yes. No, that's right. So, as far as I understand it, as we allowed all these vehicles some tinkering time, it means that the Covet now has a straight-through exhaust and some sexy new stickers.
Yes, and some pink heart seats. On for the first big jump.
Handling well, bouncing all over the place. You can see the tight suspension with little travel. It was always causing the Covet a bit of trouble, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, because it doesn't have the travel and it's got that tight street. Well, it's the tight street spec suspension.
Oh, goodbye. There goes his rear bumper.
Yes, he did. He lost his rear bumper.
Exactly, because it's a bit low as well, isn't it? I know we noticed this when the vehicles have tight suspension. Well, we're covered. The Covet recovered that, almost spun out.
Oh yeah, we forgot to call out the time.
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've done one of these races, so we've been catching up.
Exactly. So lap 2 was a 27.83 and into the barrier, right next to his rear bumper that came off earlier.
Yes. So next is Gavril D15 drag tuned.
It is. Look, this is my one. I'm waiting for this one, and we are going to run the highlights.
$27.19. We've had a track record. Oh, we're starting. Okay, so the Barstow, the Moonhawk, and the D15 all sort of crashed into each other.
Go on, the Barstow is in first place. No, what has happened? Oh no, the Barstow has had quite a bad accident.
Oh, and the D15, that was a bit of a cheap hit, which has allowed the D15 to get off in front of over the places they were landing.
Oh, there was a connection there between the D15 and was that the special? Oh no, that was not a big impact, but it was enough to throw them both off.
The D15's managed to, oh dear, just as the D15 regains control, he is hit.
Shearer's upside down.
And getting knocked by everyone. Oh dear, the D15 is like a wrecking ball.
Meanwhile, the D15 crosses the line.
So the D15 is in first place, as it's been consistently in first place. Oh dear, it's all gone crazy. Oh, another mid-air collision.
But the D15 is slowed right down at a snail's pace.
The D15 is looking, well, worse for wear. It's completely deformed, but managed to cross the line. Ground Marshal's pulled through.
Leaving the D15 in second place, the Bluebuck in third, a beautiful jump there by all three cars.
Means they're struggling landing on the jump, they're struggling going around the bend, and they're delicate, and a slight hit, and they lose the steering.
So that's it, the D15 is through.
The D15 is through.
Yes, yes. So they were the big boys' toys. Whoa, here we go. Go on, son. Show all the hair dryers how it's done.
Yes, whoa, that was quite an epic burnout there. Well, yeah, I have to say, Race 2, again, I mean, it was a long time ago we did it, wasn't it? But I think Race 2 was one of the most interesting ones I think we did.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, the big V8s, they just tore up the track.
They did, and there were some real interesting moments, weren't there?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of crashes, mid-air collisions, and because of course these are drag vehicles. I think, like you touched on earlier on, that the front wheels are just so skinny that sometimes they would just hit the barrier and lose control.
Exactly. So it was interesting to see, and I reckon that the D15.
Got a jump.
The D15, I think it's going to set a good time, and it also set a record back in Race 2, didn't it?
It did. It hit a 27.06, I think, and it held the track record for a little while.
It did, until the Owl hit a 26.04, which then took the lap record away.
Yes, so currently the Owl has the hill climb Owl has the track record of 26.04.
Yes, it does. So now can the D15 improve on its second lap? Because, of course, these are pretty tough contenders to deal with, and they're all battling for pole position. They're all trying to get the best time to try and get pole position. Okay, a 29.53. So it's a slightly better time from the first... Oh, no.
She fell over.
Yes, it certainly did. Yeah, slightly better time than the first lap.
So we're getting set up now for the Sherrier police car. Roll the highlights.
34.54 seconds. So here we go, we're ready to start. So yeah, the FCV's in first place.
Well,
oh, there we go. So wow. So the rear axle is completely destroyed on the FCV.
Wow. Oh dear.
It looks to me that the FCV is still driving as the FCV passes the finish line in first position, well, of this tiebreaker. They both spun out. Oh, well, that was a great recovery from the FCV. Manages to recover.
While there's a battle for first place here, the Sheriff just literally throws the FCV out like last night's leftovers.
Wow, beautiful driving there by the FCV. Manages to sort of hold that and bounces up and is on one wheel. Okay, so the FCV now has just completely destroyed the Pigeon. If there's one thing that this series has taught us, is that anything is possible. Oh wow, look, oh my goodness, look at that. The FCV is now fighting back for first place with the Sheriff, now picking a fight with the taxi. Oh my goodness, this FCV is a force to be reckoned with. Oh wow, and some more great driving by the FCV. Just undertakes that Sheriff. Oh, another bit of beautiful driving. Look, it's just crossed the line again. The FCV is doing really well. Last two vehicles get set up for the final heat.
I've got to admit that the FCV has been doing some great driving, and I think that the taxi, it's going to be extremely difficult for the taxi to overtake the FCV. Yeah, the FCV's balanced nicely. I think it's got a good power to weight ratio, and it's got a nice chassis, so I think it's done quite well. Yes, go on, Frenchie. Frenchie is back.
Yes, the French police car, well, it's an Italian car, isn't it? But it's, well, no, wait a minute.
It's the other way around.
No, it's a French car, but it's an Italian police car.
Yes, we got there in the end. I didn't expect that. Look at the reverse donut, reverse thingy-majig.
Yes, the Kajigga.
Or something, or whatever that was doing, yeah.
So, yes, so the police car, the FCV is getting set up to go, and the countdown is beginning. The FCV did really good, actually, and it made some pretty good overtakes.
It did, but there was some controversy in the FCV's win in the race. Was it race 3?
Yes, that's true, yes. So the I-Series actually crossed the line, but we actually missed it. So
yeah, it got written off as it crossed the line, and we didn't realise it actually crossed the line as it got written off.
Exactly. So we had to do like a 4-on-4.
Or was it a 5-on-5? We had 5 I-Series.
Yes, And, we're in at 31.69 for the first lap. Yes, and then we had 5 FCVs, and it was basically the winner out of all of that got to hold the win.
Exactly, and the FCV came through in the end, so there was a bit of controversy there.
Exactly, unfortunately there was. We had lots of complaint letters from the Italian police force, unfortunately.
Yes, but we just threw them straight in the bin.
Okay, no, so 28.34, which is a pretty good tool. Nice handbrake at the end as well. So I think the FCV's got a real good chance. It's nicely balanced. It's underpowered, but it's quite well balanced.
Okay, next is the Downforce fan. Roll the highlights.
Wow, just like that, look. 27.77.
The Owl's got a good start there.
Oh, the Pessima and the Downforce fan have collided in midair. Oh, yes, and he's just said goodbye.
She fell over. No, he tried to correct and managed to then spun out, and the Downforce fan then collided with the FCV, and the Downforce fan has now lost its downforce.
Right, the Downforce fan on the edge has crossed the line as well.
Trying to get going again.
Beautiful overtaking, or undertaking, which means now I think this one's in the bag for the Downforce fan.
Oh dear, the Downforce fan and the I-Series are having a bit of hargy-bargy.
Oh, whoa! Thank you, sir. Oh no! Oh, the I-Series spins out and the Downforce fan easily passes. By his tailgate there, all 3 vehicles jump. The Downforce fan almost loses it, but I think it's all that downforce. Oh wait, the I-Series is going for an overtake. Meanwhile, the Pessima.
Oh, they managed to push their way through.
So now the Downforce fan is in last place and has the potential to be knocked out. But it's been good to see the Downforce fan. It's handling well over those jumps and around the bends. So the Pessima now is in first place, followed by the Downforce fan. And it looks like these 2 vehicles, if they manage to stay... Wait! Oh no, there was an attempt to overtake.
The Pessima crosses the line, and Downforce fan. The I-Series was just a bit behind.
Final race, and it's the Downforce fan versus the Pessima.
Yeah, so that Downforce fan is a formidable opponent. It pulls away extremely quickly. It's got a lot of power, 4-wheel drive, all that downforce. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Pessima to beat.
Wow. Yes, so what a journey that was. So this was another crazy race that we had.
It was. This Downforce van is one of the craziest vehicles we've had on the series, so it will be interesting to see what this thing can do.
Absolutely. What an interesting looking vehicle. I believe this is a one-off. The GB5 Downforce van is back after winning race 4.
Exactly. Getting ready, getting set up and ready to go. This thing is a beast. I mean, it's an absolute beast. I mean, it's got, I think, the highest power to weight ratio there.
Yeah, I think it has, and we're getting ready to go. And now it's time to see what the Downforce van can do. Now, so this is what counts. So these vehicles need to set the best time possible, because of course they want to be at the front of the pack.
Yeah, you see, that's the 1 minute. Nice, coming through for a jump. Look at it go. Look at it go. Nicely done. This thing I don't think ever spins out.
But of course, these faster vehicles, they really need to try and get a good time to be at the front of the pack. Wait a minute, first, so 31.69. Okay, so it wasn't quite as quick as I was expecting.
No, but don't forget there's the second lap to come, which is essentially a rolling lap. So they often do, the vehicles tend to get a better time on the second lap. Of course, unless they spin out and crash.
Yes, so let's hope not. But yeah, these vehicles, they're all battling for the best time possible to have clean air in front of them, because if you're a fast vehicle and you're at the back, you end up with all sorts of trouble overtaking. So second lap, 28.34.
So that's a good time, a very good time. Okay, so the Downforce fan is going, oh no, what's happened? Oh dear, it's fallen apart. She fell over.
Okay, next is Sunburst off-road. Roll the highlights.
Okay, I feel dizzy just looking at that.
The Sunburst now takes the pole position away from the Corvette with a 29.90. But we're going to see what happens. See if the Hirochi can do the racetrack proud. So the Sunburst is in first place, the Corvette's in second place. Oh dear, quite a knock. by the Sunburst onto that Baja. The Sunburst has been in first place the whole time.
Sunburst is in first place, H15's in second.
So the Sunburst is in first place still. H15 is in hot pursuit, then the Hopper, and the Gamble is in last place. Wow, the Sunburst is way out there. So the Sunburst is about to cross the line and be safe yet again. Yeah, but I do think that the Sunburst is sort of nicely balanced. That thing has been in first place the whole race. So the Sunburst is through. So the Sunburst is going to make it. Yes, so that was an interesting journey for the Sunburst. So this thing was an unstoppable force in race 5. It was completely unstoppable.
Yeah, the Sunburst did pretty well, but as we were saying, about, what was it, after about, I think, race 3, we had to make sure that all the vehicles had regulation tyres.
Yes, we did, to make things as competitive as possible and as safe as possible.
Wait, what? Safe? This isn't supposed to be safe.
Well, at least it makes for good challenging races. I think that's the idea. So of course, the Sunburst off-road, although it is your off-road vehicle, or off-road variant, it did have to have the the race spec regulation tyres for this track.
Yeah, so I suppose, if we do have an off-road track in the future, then of course the regulation tyres will move in real time, and then of course all the vehicles would have to have regulation off-road tyres.
Exactly. So that's lap 1. That's a 30.76. Isn't a bad time, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the next time is for the Sunburst.
Yeah, you notice that all the crazy donuts that were making me dizzy last time, you notice it couldn't do it this time with the regulation tyres.
No, because the Sunburst, although it did really well and it was pretty unstoppable, but it has a fairly modest amount of power. But of course, with those, and 27.93, wow, that is an improvement.
Right, dear, into the barrier. Oh, and he's lost his lights. Or at least half of them. Well, no, a quarter of them, the front lights.
So the Bruckle Legrand Custom is back. We're getting ready to run the highlights. There you go, that's how you do it. That's a 29.20. Okay, so, oh dear. So the Custom has caught those tyres.
But that means the Firehawk is in first place. If the Firehawk can avoid, no, the Firehawk has hit the barrier.
What an overtake!
5 vehicles left. Oh my goodness. So all of the vehicles then just...
Oh, whoa! Look at that! Wow, a nice little land and jump at the end. First place is the Custom. Second, wow, look at that jump. Custom is in first place, relatively unscathed. Beautiful jumps there by everyone. As I say that, I'm eating my words.
You are eating your words?
Whoa, the Legrand Custom is just in front. There's just too much going on.
The Legrand Custom is just ahead. Whoa, look at this! Look at this! The Firehawk has spun the Legrand Custom out.
Firehawk's in first place, the Legrand Custom is in second place, and the Legrand Custom make up that distance.
Beautiful jump.
Oh, I've got a feeling I know what's going to happen. Yes, unfortunately, the Firehawk has hit that barrier. The Custom's overtaken. It's an upset. One last bend to do, and can the Custom make it through?
Oh, I was hoping for the Firehawk.
I agree, it would have been interesting to see the Firehawk in this finale, but I do like the Legrand Custom. I think front-wheel drive burnout. But I think the Grand Custom, I think it did pretty well, and I think something that I think I've noticed. I don't know about you, Boots, but I've noticed that sometimes these vehicles that are maybe perhaps a bit underpowered, I suppose they seem to be better balanced and seem to make it through a bit easier than like these vehicles with like loads and loads of horsepower.
And go. I see what you're saying, because like the Firehawk had a lot of power, and I think it hit the barrier a few times, whereas this little Legrand managed to sort of avoid the barrier mostly.
Yeah, and but it did take the jumps quite nicely, like in the highlights when it was like it bounced up and just slid on the ground on one side, and then managed to go roll back to its wheels.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That was quite impressive. It was interesting, and so I think the Legrand has always been. 30.42.
Oh, just about avoids hitting that barrier and regains control. But you see, we are not seeing so far a massive difference between the times between the big power vehicles and the slightly smaller lower power vehicles.
No, I suppose we're not, but I still wanted to see that Firehawk. It would have been pretty good to see that. But in any case, second lap is, whoa, a 27.51. Oh no, straight into that barrier.
Perhaps slightly overzealous there, crossing that line on the second lap. But of course, he's putting his foot down, fighting for a good time.
Next is a Hirochi Sunburst track. Roll the tape.
The right-hand side hits the ground first, which means the weight shifts rapidly to the left side and then opposite lock, and he's going sideways into that barrier. Okay, crosses the line for lap 2 at 27.01. This is the problem you see with these external wheels. So the Sunburst has clipped the rear left wheel of that the track toy, the Bolide track toy.
Yeah, and just sort of sent him into space. And I don't think there's any way that he can recover from that. The F2 and the Sunburst.
Beautiful jump by the Sunburst and the F2. The track toy hits the F2. Oh dear, bit.
Yeah, the F2 is a dead ball now.
The Sunburst and the V6R4 are really going at it. The Sunburst is desperately trying to overtake. Can he do it? Can he do it? Can the Sunburst overtake?
Yes, the Sunburst has overtaken the V6R4.
The Sunburst is in first place and looks like it's about to spin out. It's spun out. Oh, that's really raked the front end, hasn't it? Oh, and the back end.
Sunburst crosses the line, followed by the F320.
And the Sunburst now spins out as well. It means that this is a difficult... Oh dear, straight into the tyres. The Evo's falling apart. So now it looks like it's the Evo... Let's jump at the Sunburst. Okay, the Sunburst crosses the line. The Sunburst is safe. On board with the Sunburst, and you can see that the Sunburst is interestingly keeping up with these with the F2 and F320. Oh dear, the Evo's spun out. Oh dear, and wow, sideways into the tyres.
We never know what's going to happen.
Okay, so the Sunburst comes round and slightly separates these vehicles. Here we go, bit of movement. The Sunburst breaks through. That means that the Sunburst has come in first place.
They're out.
Whoa! Sunburst crosses the line.
Okay, we're off to go now. Again, for the final race. This is the decision.
Oh, the Sunburst almost spinning out again.
The upset is going to be the Sunburst.
Yeah, I think that the Track Day Toys, I think, was probably my favourite one, I think.
Yeah, well, for me, I think it was the drag-tuned class, because that was pretty good. All the American class was the big boys, the big boy cars.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the Sunburst track is back from race 7. This was the race 7 winner. The Sunburst is back to try and set a good time. I think from memory in the highlights it was, 27 seconds, 27.03 or something. Let's see if the Sunburst can do any better.
Okay, here goes the Sunburst, the Track Day Toys. We're going to see what the Track Day Toy Sunburst can do.
Yes, it's going to be interesting because, like we were saying, all these vehicles are battling to get a good time because you want to be at the front of the pack. You don't want to be at the back. Being at the back means you're going to have to try and fight around all the slower vehicles in front of you. So, yes, if you have the speed, you want to be at the front.
Otherwise, you end up having all sorts of trouble trying to overtake everyone, and it's absolute carnage.
Yes, it is. And this was an interesting race, race 7, because you had the Sunburst, which looked funny because it was up against these sort of Formula 1, Formula 2 type cars, and it was really interesting to see.
It was. And I think both those sort of Formula 2 sort of IndyCar type vehicles, they were doing the jump beautifully. They were just gliding over that jump, and it was just beautiful to see.
It was good to see, but ready the second lap, we have a time of, whoa, 26.04. Oh, and into...
Oh, she fell over.
Wow.
Okay, back on the wheels, back in the room.
So that's joint track record. So next is the Mark 1 Wagon. Roll the tape. Here's the end of the second lap. Whoa, that was a fair old jump. 26. Ooh, and a head-on collision. Whoa, more calamity. Trying to keep up with all this is way too much action.
Whoa, oh my goodness, the Wagon is looking worse for wear. Oh, what a nice jump and a nice overtake.
What is fire?
We have fire. So the Kashira and the Minicon cross the line with the Wagon, the Mark 1 Pessima Wagon. They all cross the line by the car behind it. Oh my goodness, the 200BX landed. Oh my, what is going on?
Here we go, the Wagon is in last place.
Oh my goodness, a bit of a battle between the 200BX and the Wagon.
This is the spin out. Whoa, we actually had a mid-air collision.
On board here with the Kashira.
Now on board with the JBX. Ooh, there has to be a loser. Oh no! The JD. Oh, wow, that was a tough hit.
Kashira is in first place, followed by the Wagon, the 200BX. The Wagon is catching up now with the Miramar and the Kashira, so we've got 3 of them now. But I think...
Whoa! The Wagon breaks through the middle. NVIDIA managed to spin out the Kashira. And so 200BX in first place. Whoa, followed by the Wagon.
No, oh no, look at that. The 200BX has just flown straight past the Wagon. 200BX and the Wagon jumping beautifully, but they are really close.
Oh no, inside, on the inside, the Wagon managed to overtake the 200BX. Wow, it feels like a long time since we did that, but that's just reminded me how fun that race was as well.
Yeah, race 8 was an interesting one, there's no doubt about that. But so, the last vehicle to set its time for the qualifying is the Ibishu...
Try again.
Okay, Ibishu Pessima Mark 1 Wagon.
Well done, you did it. Good. So, we're going to see what sort of time the Wagon sets, because of course, so in race 8, the Pessima in qualifying hit something like a 26.08, I think, from memory.
Yeah, I think it was about that. And that's just a tiny fraction away from the track record. So what we were saying was the Owl has initially had the track record at 26.04, and then the Sunburst track also hit a 26.04.
Yes, so that means then we have joint track record holders.
Yeah, it does mean that.
So first lap, 30.76. Okay, a bit of understeer, a bit of oversteer, but manages to sort himself out. So we're going to see now, can the Pessima do any better on his second lap?
Okay, but as we have joint track record holders, I think we're going to have to do something to decide who is the ultimate track record holder winner.
Yeah, maybe we should do like a tug of war or something. Good. So a 26.37, so quite a way off into that barrier again. So quite a way off from his time in race 8 qualifying.
But still a good time nonetheless. So we've got all the times in now. We now have the positions. So make sure you stay tuned, because coming up will be the race 9 finale from Series 1.
Exactly, and I'm super excited for that. Then after that, we'll be doing Season 2 or Series 2 with a new track, 8 new classes, and it's going to be even more interesting to see.
It will, and I'm looking forward to that. All these vehicles have had a bit of difficulty, haven't they?
Yeah, every single one has just overcooked it and gone into that barrier. oh yeah, but of course the Downforce van managed to roll off the ramp. But I think the police car did the best out of that, I reckon.
So, good. The times are in. So in first place is the Hirochi Sunburst track with a 26.04.
Second place is the Ibishu Pessima Mark 1 Wagon, 26.37.
Third place is the GB5 Downforce fan with a 27.06.
Fourth place is the Breco Legrand Custom with a 27.51.
Fifth place is the FCV Cherrier Vivace Policia, 27.79.
Sixth place is the Ibishu Covet Street Tune with a 27.83.
Seventh place is the Hirochi Sunburst Off-Road with a 27.93.
Eighth is the Gavril D15 Drag Tune with a 29.53. So all very good times.
They are. So stay tuned for the race. We have the grid positions. The Sunburst track has the pole position.
We'll be straight back with the main race. See you in the next one.